everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a brand new letter that we're gonna write, so let's get started. Here is the question. You found a piece of lost luggage with someone else's belongings labeled with their name and address. Write a letter to the owner. In your letter, describe the luggage you found, explain where you found it, suggest how the owner could get it back. So the first thing you need to do is figure out, is this formal or is this informal? Now, informal letters are only for friends and family members. So I don't know this person. This person's a stranger. So right away, I know that this is not informal. So this is formal. Now I do need to figure out if it's semi-formal or if it's formal, but that is something that's a very, very minor difference. I do go over that with my students, but for most purposes, you don't really need to bother with that. I mean, as long as you want, let's say, a band up to a band 8, you don't really need to bother with the differences between these things. There's only 3 things that differ. Now, you'll notice that it says that you found their belongings labeled with their name and address. So, now you wouldn't just address them. For example, let's say somebody called Sally Anderson lost her baggage. Now, you're not going to say, "Hey, Sally, what's up, girl? I found your bag," blah, blah, blah. Not like that, because that kind of language indicates familiarity, which you only have with people who are actually your friends and family. So here instead, you'd use their last name. So, dear Miss Anderson or dear Mr. Smith, whatever. You can make that up. That's entirely imaginary. Don't spend too much time thinking about the names and stuff. Yeah, just get to writing, because you can always change things later. So dear, because again, this is not a friend, so I'm not gonna start with, "Hey Sally, I found your bag." No. Dear, and again, dear always goes with someone's last name. Or in case you're writing to a friend or family member, then of course you use their first name. But if you're writing to someone you don't know, even if you know their name, it's always dear Mr. last name or dear Miss last name. Usually we don't really use Mrs. nowadays, because again, you can't really judge if someone's married or not, right? Unless they tell you that. So yeah, stick to just using Mr., Miss, and their last name, not the first name. A lot of people write, for example, dear Mr. John, but John is the first name. You don't use Mr. Mr. is really Mr. or Miss or Mrs. These are really replacements for people's first name, yeah? You can, of course, use the full thing. For example, dear Mr. John Doe, that's fine. Or dear Mr. Doe, that's fine too. But not dear Mr. John. Yeah, not the first name with Mr. or Miss. Both first name and last name, that's fine. Or even just the last name, that's fine. Great. So, dear Miss Atwood. And come on, then I continue. Now, your first order of business is to describe the luggage you found. Keep in mind that you need to really stick to the bullet point. Don't write random stuff. A lot of people just write whatever comes to their mind. But listen, if you want a good score, you're going to have to make sure that you stick to the bullet point. Don't stray too far from it, yeah? Because that's exactly what they're checking. Has this person elaborated on this point? That's what they want you to do. They don't want you to just write whatever comes to your mind. Here it's really important. Give the examiner what they're asking for, and then you'll get a good score, right? Right, so here we go, dear Mr. The first thing I need to do is describe the luggage you found. So I'm not just gonna start directly. Instead, you want to kind of let them know why you're writing, right? And that's just gonna take like one line. So I could potentially start by saying, I'm writing to you because, again, and then you tell, okay, I found, your baggage. So you found a piece of lost belongings. Okay, great. So I'm writing to you. Why? With any kind of formal writing, you don't want to waste their time. Basically, you want to get straight to the point, right? Now, if it was a friend or family member, then it's different. But here, you're strangers, you don't know each other, you don't want to waste each other's time, right? So I'm writing to you because I recently came across, or maybe yesterday I came across, or whatever. I recently came across, hold a large bag, large, maybe, for example, red bag, right? Full of clothing and what else? Clothing, shoes, and souvenirs. Whoop, there we go. So I'm writing to you because I recently came across a large red bag full of clothing, shoes, and souvenirs close to close to a mall or a hotel, a restaurant, airport, bus station, whatever. Um, Mall, lowercase, train station. Right. So, here you need to describe the luggage. What does it look like? Is it big, small? What does it have inside of it? That's your job. Describe as much as possible. Imagine in your mind a bag. What does it look like? How big is it? What does it have inside it? Are there any distinguishing features? Is the handle broken? Is the wheel missing? All kinds of things, right? So maybe the handle is broken or something like that. I'm writing to you because I recently came across a large red bag full of clothing, shoes, and souvenirs close to the Hedgeway train station. Um, it looked like it had your name on it, right? It had, or rather has, because it still does, it has your full name and address on it, which is why I was able to write to you. Now I need a bit more of a description. So I came across a large red bag. I came across a bag, large red bag, which was abandoned, or maybe I recently came across a large red bag with a broken handle or with a missing uh, shoes and souvenirs. There we go. Now what I need to do is just check because your letter is going to be approximately, like it's going to be minimum 150 words, right? But it's going to be approximately 185, I would say, in general. So this is 49 words, which is good enough. You can add a bit more if you want to, but it's not really necessary. It's red, it's large, broken handle. Maybe you can even, for example, there's, baggage brands, right? If you want to, you can. For example, I came across a large red removal bag, right? I mean, whatever you'd want to. If you want to, that's optional. You don't need to write the brand name or whatever. It's just something that, again, adds, a bit of a description, right? So, okay, that really is hers because you're giving so much detail, so much info. I recently came across a large removal bag with a broken handle for clothing, shoes, souvenirs, close to the Hedgeway train station. It has your full name and address on it, which is why I was able to write to you. Explain where you found it. Now, the problem here is I've already explained where I found it in paragraph 1, which is a big, big mistake. Huge, huge mistake. So we're going to have to take that out because that does not belong here, right? So I need to remove this. I don't actually need to remove it entirely. What I'll do is I'll just cut it over here and I'll just bring it down here, right? I'll just save it for later. So I recently came across a large red removal bag with a broken handle full of clothing, women's clothing, right? So I'm adding more detail, clothing, shoes, and souvenirs. It looked abandoned at first, but then I saw that it has your full name and address on it, which is why I was able to write to you. That's enough content. Now I need to explain where I found it, right? So how did I come across this baggage? How do you think you'd come across someone's bag? Maybe you are at the airport and it was just unclaimed, but like who waits that long? Maybe I was just walking around trying to get my grocery shopping done. That's a good idea. Okay. Um, Yesterday evening at around 7 p.m. I went out to the local well, To meet a friend and came across this yeah, local train station. So what I'll do is I went out to the local train station, so I'll add the name in there. To a train station to meet a friend and came across this bag close to, now where? To the tracks or to the booking counter, maybe, yeah. Or close to the street, close to the taxi stand. That makes sense. Great. Because nobody was around the bag. Um, because the bag was on its side and nobody seemed to be interested in it. I was curious and checked just to, confirm, or, went closer or went ahead to have a look to see if someone had lost it. Yeah, someone perhaps lost it. There we go. So yesterday evening at around 7 p.m., I went out to Hedgeway train station to meet a friend and came across this bag close to the taxi stand. Because the bag was on its side and nobody seemed to be interested in it, I was curious and went ahead to have a look to see if someone had perhaps lost it. There we go. I'm gonna check the word count on this one. That's 59. Good enough. That's all you need. You just need like 2-3 sentences, not more than that. Yeah. Great. Suggest how the owner could get it back. So I know you live in a different state or, province or whatever you'd like to add. I know you live in a different state. So like what, of course, I mean, I know you live in different states, so it could be difficult. Yeah, it might be difficult for you to come back here to pick it up, right? But I can't come there either. So how about I courier this to you, right? So I know you live in a different state, so it might be difficult for you to come back here to pick it up. Um, but I but I have an idea. How about I courier it to you? Right? I can send it to you uh via what do you call it? Postpaid shipping, right? Shipping and add insurance or something like that. So will not even have to send me any money, right? Because it can be a little bit like risky. Oh, this person's telling me they have my baggage and now they want me to pay them money to courier it. Right? So how about postpaid shipping, right? So I can send it to you with postpaid shipping, so you will not even have to send me any money. And let's have a look. That's 55 words already. That's good enough. That's all you need. Do you see how simple writing a letter is or can be? I know you live in different states, so it might be difficult for you to come back here to pick it up, but I have an idea. How about I courier it to you? I can send it to you via postpaid shipping, so you will not even have to send me any money. And at the very end, you want to just end with a line. Let me know what you think, right? And finally, yours. Now, this person doesn't know me, so I'm gonna end with yours faithfully, right? Faithfully F, formal. Sincerely S, semi-formal. Yeah, yeah. Okay, there we go. There we go. And some imaginary fake name. There we go. And that's it. So let's have a look at the entire word count. And that is a total of 182. There we go. So like I said, all you really need is around 185-ish, more or less, of course, not exactly. And keep in mind, what do the bullet points want you to do? Now, sometimes what'll happen is you'll read the bullet point, for example, suggest. Now, anytime you see suggest or give advice, you ideally want to use modal verbs. Now, I have used modal verbs here, might, can, which is perfectly fine. Will as well, right? Because suggest, how about I do this, right? That's another way to make a suggestion. Or you could do XYZ. That's another way to make a suggestion. So just look at, usually the first words of the bullet point, they kind of give you a nice clue or the key to what you really, really must do. Yeah. So that usually helps because the first word of the bullet point usually is some kind of verb. All right, so that's that. I'll just scroll through the letter. Here is paragraph 1. We have paragraph 2 there as well. You can pause the screen to have a look. And then we have the last paragraph and the ending. And there we go. That was easy peasy. Right then, I'll see you in the next video. There's a lot of content here, so don't forget to check it out. And if you have any feedback, I'd love to hear from you. And while you're still here, don't forget to click on like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There's tons and tons of useful stuff. Well, until then, I'll see you later. Bye.